Hello and welcome. Here's what's happening right now. Breaking down the good and the bad as the economy's growth surges past expectations.
Everybody's watching their budgets right now.
While businesses hope for a boost from Black Friday bargain hunters.
Disrupting, preventing, and ending this threat to our community.
The alarming number of extortion attempts terrifying Vancouver communities.
I just thank them from the bottom of my heart that they're taking the effort.
Plus an unexpected connection over a Second World War sacrifice.
CTV National News with Heather Butts.
Good afternoon, I'm John Venevalley-Rao, filling in for Heather Butts. And we begin with the Canadian economy, which has blown past expectations, avoiding a technical recession, by experiencing surprising growth in the third quarter. This despite the onslaught of U.S. tariffs. But look deeper into the data, which shows 2.6% growth. And the situation isn't exactly rosy. CTV's Abigail Beeman now on the numbers released today. And Abigail, they tell a bit of a mixed story, don't they?
John, economists are describing it as a pleasant surprise, a sharp third quarter rebound attributed to a stronger trade balance over the summer.
Hi, Ontario people. That's what we need to do is support each other.
Some economists say gross domestic product growth is proof months of Buy Canadian ads and measures are working even with an unresolved trade war.
We saw imports drop 2.2%, which is a huge decline in the amount of foreign goods that we're consuming here in Canada. And that's really what helped to propel the economy forward, along with some increasing government spending.
Canada's real gross domestic product rose 2.6% on an annualized basis in the third quarter of 2025. Imports dropped 2.2% and exports climbed 0.2%.
This puts aside kind of the recession talks or certainly the worries that we had about 2 negative quarters, but it doesn't really kind of take away the kind of, how should I say, concern that we have around the economy still.
Statistics Canada says business investment was flat and household spending dropped slightly. The Prime Minister picks a positive spin and takes credit, posting the growth beats expectations and we're getting results.
At the surface, the data looks good. It's positive. But scratching beneath the surface, what you see is that there's some prudence. Consumers are prudent. You see that in the way they've increased their savings.
This economic snapshot coming ahead of the Bank of Canada's last interest rate decision of the year on December 10th. John?
All right, Abigail Beeman in Ottawa. To the other big economic story of the day, we're talking about retail sales and Black Friday, with some shoppers lining up very early this morning, looking to score some deals. It used to be just a weekend event, but now seems like a month-long affair, with Canadian retailers this year hoping to cash in on bargain hunting. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has more on that.
Every item on the shelves of Patty Taggart's toy store are carefully chosen.
It's so great for fine motor skills.
Each one designed to bring someone joy, especially during the holidays.
We start in about May or June. We start looking at, what's available, what's going to be the trends.
Like most retailers, Black Friday helps get people into her independent toy shop and kick off holiday sales.
This week is definitely a busier week. It's sort of been a slow start to November, but I think it's just because people really like to put thought into what they're buying. Everybody's watching their budgets right now. So they're coming in and they're really looking at things and saying, okay, is this going to be something they're really going to like?
Retail experts say the American shopping tradition of Black Friday, the day after U.S. Thanksgiving, took off in Canada around 15 years ago. It was a way to encourage Canadians to spend their money at home instead of going south of the border. Back then, it was a long weekend event. Now, it often lasts a month.
If you're a retailer, the more times you can engage in shopping with your consumer by having daily deals or weekly deals, you can get them to spend more, perhaps at your store, than they would otherwise.
For retailers, the longer sales period translates into more business. For consumers, the discounts result in much-needed savings at a time when most surveys say Canadians are looking to spend less and buy less than ever before.
Part of it is that retailers realize that Canadians don't have the ability to spend like they used to, but still wanting to capitalize on consumer purchases. And so you have to meet shoppers where they're at. So that means greater discounts.
Retail experts say those discounts are being offered earlier than ever before. And that's because Canadians are no longer waiting until late December to get their shopping done. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Annie, thank you. The Law Society of Ontario is taking action against a Brampton lawyer accused of being connected to a global drug trafficking network allegedly run by former Canadian Olympian Ryan Wedding. Deepak Paradkar was arrested last week. He faces numerous charges in the U.S. Among the allegations is that he advised Wedding his criminal case would be dismissed if he murdered a key witness. The Law Society says it's seeking an order to have Paradkar's license suspended or restricted, citing the serious criminal allegations against him. Police in Metro Vancouver say they're investigating more than 100 extortion attempts targeting South Asian businesses, many of which have resulted in gunfire. Today, the Premier, police, and local leaders tried to reassure a frightened public. CTV's BC Bureau Chief Andrew Johnson was listening in. Andrew, this is a staggering number of crimes.
It is, John, more than 100 just this year. The primary weapon is fear and making people feel isolated. So part of the message today from officials to victims was, you are not alone. It often starts with a threatening phone call, text, or email, and ends in gunfire, extortion attempts against business owners that also get personal, terrorizing entire families.
Know everything, like when my kids going outside, when they come back from the school, they have like every information on the call.
Police say many victims are scared to come forward for fear of retaliation. Many community members we encounter are too fearful to appear on camera.
Yeah, it's very scary. Definitely, it's very scary for us.
Today, the Premier met with local leaders and police, insisting the province is throwing everything it can at the crisis.
We are united and working together to ensure that everybody who has been affected by these extortion threats gets the response that they deserve. The shared goal that we all have here: disrupting, preventing, and ending this threat to our community.
Extortion-related violence has not just been continuing, it is intensifying. There have been 40 shootings in 2025 alone, including 2 at a Surrey restaurant owned by Bollywood star Kapil Sharma. Today, the federal public safety minister confirmed a related arrest in India.
I am aware that there was an arrest made of an individual allegedly involved with an act in British Columbia.
There have been a number of other arrests since a provincial police task force was formed in September. There wasn't a lot in today's announcement on new police action to help calm people in Metro Vancouver's South Asian community living scared. There was new money announced to support victims. John.
All right, thanks so much, Andrew. The pipeline agreement that the federal government struck with Alberta's premier this week is proving to be risky for the Prime Minister. A key cabinet minister, Stephen Guilbeault, has already resigned, and there could be more blowback in British Columbia and beyond. CTV's Judy Trin is taking a closer look at the risks and what might be coming next. Judy?
John, the resignation of Stephen Guilbeault could have the biggest impact on Mark Carney's support in BC and Quebec.
For a project like that to come to reality, you'd have to make sure that there is social acceptance, certainly if it's going to BC.
After 6 years in the Liberals' inner circle, Stephen Guilbeault quit as Minister of Culture, unable to stomach the Prime Minister's shift toward pipelines. Just hours after Mark Carney signed the Memorandum of Understanding with Alberta's Premier, Guilbeault resigned. He said several elements of the climate change action plan he worked on are about to be dismantled, including consumer carbon pricing, zero-emission vehicle standards, and the emissions cap on the oil and gas sectors.
I'll disagree with the characterization that we're rolling things back when we've actually committed to strengthening the industrial carbon price, strengthening methane regulations, extending the methane regulation.
Guilbeault will remain in caucus. Other Liberal MPs feel strongly about the environment. About 30 are part of a newly formed climate caucus.
He's dedicated his life to climate issues, and it's completely understandable that he would stand on that principle. Does that mean that there's a cancer spreading through the caucus? Absolutely not.
Guibault was also the Quebec lieutenant. Now Carney will have to find someone else to help him navigate the politics of La Belle Province.
Mark Carney is not a Quebecer. Mark Carney is not culturally, linguistically in the flow of Quebec. He relies on that Quebec lieutenant.
The Prime Minister must now focus on finding a new Minister of Canadian Culture, but he could also use this vacancy for a broader cabinet shuffle. John.
Judy Tran in Ottawa, thank you. The reaction to that energy agreement is rippling across Alberta, far beyond the political arena and Indigenous groups. Oil and gas companies, along with ordinary Albertans, are weighing in. Let's bring in CTV's Kathy Lee now, who's been following this. And Kathy, what are they saying about the deal?
John, the message I'm hearing is that a lot of Albertans are happy about this memorandum of understanding.
Great for the economy.
If the MOU leads to building of major projects, whether it's the carbon capture or pipeline, that means thousands of jobs.
Some say they never expected a day would come where Ottawa and Alberta would show cooperation on a potential pipeline. This one would go from Alberta to BC and then to Asian markets. However, despite the optimism, there are questions about whether a pipeline will actually be built.
I'm not holding my breath on it.
Will we see it? I don't know, because they have to get private money to invest in it.
There needs to be a detailed path forward and actuality in what does a regulatory framework look like moving forward for investment to come back and confidence to come back for a proponent to step up.
The pipeline must also clear several conditions, including Indigenous approval and co-ownership, plus economic benefits for British Columbia. Alberta must also increase its industrial carbon price to help lower methane emissions and build the Pathways Alliance carbon capture project in exchange for Ottawa pausing its emissions cap and Alberta's clean electricity requirement and making an exemption to the federal tanker ban on the West Coast. The plan is for Alberta to submit its official pipeline application and route by July 1st. If it's approved, in the best case scenario, shovels could be in the ground by 2029. John.
Kathy Lee in Calgary. The accused in that shooting of 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C. is now facing murder charges, with the attack prompting the U.S. president to announce an immigration freeze. The 29-year-old suspect faces first-degree murder charges for allegedly shooting the National Guard members near the White House, leaving one dead and the other in critical condition. The suspect is from Afghanistan and worked with the CIA during the war and had been in the U.S. since 2021 as part of a program that resettled 70,000 Afghans who helped American troops. Donald Trump announced, as he put it, a permanent pause on migration from, quote, third world countries. The United Nations is appealing to America to continue allowing asylum seekers due process. The death toll in the Hong Kong disaster and those high-rises has risen to 128 people after a fire ripped through several high-rise apartment buildings.
Okay.
This tearful resident is worried her home is gone. An additional 79 people were injured in the disaster. 200 remain missing. The complex was undergoing renovations at the time of the fire. The 32-story towers were wrapped in bamboo scaffolding and green mesh, which fueled the rapid spread, along with styrofoam placed outside the windows. Anti-corruption authorities have arrested 8 people in connection with the project. Earlier this week, 3 people overseeing the work were also arrested for manslaughter. A corruption inquiry has been launched. Airbus is warning there may be flight disruptions involving some of its planes as a result of a software update on thousands of its aircraft. The move reportedly has to be carried out on planes before their next routine flight. American Airlines says more than 300 of its jets are affected, but adds the software replacement will be mostly completed by tomorrow. Airbus says intense solar radiation may corrupt data critical to the functioning of flight controls. This comes after a JetBlue flight made an emergency landing in Florida in October, triggering an investigation. Coming up, a groundbreaking database.
It's game-changing.
That could unlock personalized cancer treatment. Cancer research in this country is taking another step forward thanks to the Terry Fox Institute, which has compiled data for more than 13,000 patients, one of the biggest ever data sets of its kind ever compiled in Canada. It'll be used to strengthen scientific research and help to understand rare diseases. CTV's Garrett Barry now on the information gathered and the role it will play.
Cancer researcher Sherry Christian has been looking forward to this moment for years.
It's game changing. Yeah, this is what I think we've been trying to get, the point where we've been trying to get for decades.
She is one of the first to get access to a massive and deep cancer database tracking genomic data, interventions, outcomes in about 13,000 Canadians.
What somebody, for example, in Alberta finds that mutation and finds the drug that's going to target that mutation. Well, somebody in Newfoundland can find that same mutation and they'll know which drug is going to be appropriate.
The Gold Cohort, as it's called, is a project of the Terry Fox Research Institute. That database is still growing. It's just won about $20 million annually in federal government funding.
Canadians have to learn to be more self-sufficient, so we can't really rely on things being done in other countries. So we have to do that ourselves. Again, this is what Terry Fox told us 45 years ago.
Christian's research on glioblastoma is one of the first 5 to tap into this database.
Just look in Atlantic Canada, we might get 20, that we could, or maybe even 50, at the outside. But we're not going to get the hundreds that you really need to be able to dive into the data and find these patterns.
It will be some time before this database is fully integrated in healthcare systems across the country, but it is a step towards what's called precision medicine, where an individual's genetic makeup is a key factor in determining what treatments are recommended for them. John.
Important stuff. Thanks so much, Garrett.
I'm Alison Bamford in Swift Current, Saskatchewan. Coming up on CTV National News, a fallen Second World War soldier connects 2 families overseas.
I just thank them from the bottom of my heart that they're taking the effort.
How caregivers of a Belgian gravesite are bringing comfort to complete strangers in Canada. Coming up on CTV National News.
To a touching story now about 2 families who were complete strangers, but are now connected through a simple act of kindness and a sacrifice made decades ago on a faraway battlefield. Here's CTV's Alison Bamford.
And it says France and Germany, So.
An afternoon with family.
He sure sounds like the Clausens, doesn't he?
Remembering a person they never got the chance to know.
He must have been an extraordinary man.
That man is their uncle, Corporal Peter Clausen, a young soldier in the Second World War.
This is for participating in the war, actually, is what it was, wasn't it?
Most of what his nephews know comes from photos, articles, and medals passed down to them.
And not knowing the man personally, you just feel happy that there's a family member that did sacrifice their life for our freedom.
Peter was killed in action while fighting in France in 1944. He was just 19. His remains are buried in a Belgian cemetery, the ending of their uncle's story as they knew it. But for this Belgian couple, it was just the beginning.
We visit the graves a few times on a year, and then we take flowers, and then we say a little prayer.
Danny Van Hefta and Sabina de Kraker adopted Peter Clausen's grave 2 years ago through an international program. They wanted the family to know his grave was being cared for.
Perhaps it gives them some comfort that there are still people in Belgium that did not forget what they did.
They posted this on Facebook, searching for any of Peter's relatives. It caught the attention of military historians, the Royal Canadian Legion, and eventually the family.
I would be very proud to say that someone was looking after someone that was dear to our hearts.
The families have connected online since, but more than that, it's renewed interest in Peter's story.
When we did this research, it brought a lot of things back. I just thank them from the bottom of my heart that they're taking the effort.
A small gesture honoring the biggest of sacrifices. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Swift Current, Saskatchewan.
Canadian superstar Celine Dion is sharing an emotional U.S. Thanksgiving message to her fans.
There's something so powerful about gathering with the people you love, whether around a full table, over the phone, or even just in your heart.
Posted on social media, the singer stated the U.S. holiday is a good reminder to slow down, take a deep breath, and give thanks. Dion has been battling stiff person syndrome since 2022. Still to come, from the sea to the town center, how these lobster traps have captured the holiday spirit. With food banks experiencing a surge in demand right across the country, in one seaside town in New Brunswick, they've come up with a festive solution, raising both money and spirits by recycling old lobster traps and buoys in a clever way ahead of Christmas. For a glimpse of what they've put together, let's head over to Sarah Plowman in St. Andrews by the Sea. Hey there, Sarah.
John, tonight people will gather at this lobster trap Christmas tree to see it get lit up. It's a hit that keeps growing, along with the need at the local food bank. Touched by the sea, St. Andrews is also shaped by tradition. The town feels like a Christmas Hallmark movie. Center stage is a tower of lobster traps, formed to make a tree.
Originally, it was just because I loved trap trees. And my grandfather, he was an artist, and he always had the biggest Christmas tree.
Allison Spear and her husband fish. Her idea to build a trap tree snowballed into a major fundraiser for the food bank.
In 8 years, we've raised $78,000.
Each buoy comes with a donation.
Can't lose the memory, so.
A chance for locals like Debbie Wright to give back and honor her late husband, Dave, with a buoy in his name.
It's good, warms my heart. It's a good thing.
The trap tree draws tourists and awareness to how much the demand at St. Andrews Open Door Food Program has ballooned.
Well, in the last 3 months, it's gone up 25%.
The need that's not always obvious, but volunteers and board members feel it.
There is a greater need here more than ever, and I do feel that a lot of people are unaware of how much the need is.
And so this tree will give a lot back to the community that surrounds it, with donations coming in not just from locals, but people from Ontario wanting to sponsor a buoy. John.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Sarah. That's our newscast for this Friday. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back here at 11 o'clock. Have a great evening.